Hello everyone, in today's video I'll be looking on how to set author time or even a faster time on Winter 2021. Before starting up, we'd really appreciate if you subscribe for more Trackmania news, videos, guides and updates. Anyway, let's begin. So Winter 2021 is one of the more big style-ish maps from the campaign. We'll be looking at the run by Dexter. Dexter is currently the world record holder at the time of recording this on this map. The map is relatively straightforward. It takes a lot of the outside lands that you need to take in certain parts of the map that are quite required to take the more inside approaches than the outside ones. So first we'll have a look at the full run and then we'll go analysis of detail, like turn by turn, on why they do, well, specific turns in a specific way to give an insight of how to do some of the top times on certain maps. So the map contains multiple surfaces. However, it's a very straightforward map. You need to basically just hold accelerate for the entirety of the map, and you just need to steer or do minor tap drifts to get the perfect lines. It contains most of the surfaces except ice. It's a relatively straightforward map, and it's one of the better round-friendly maps throughout the whole campaign. It's one of the more, let's just say, meta-fitting maps that fits with the competitive style. Okay, let's start off. So the very first jump, ideally you want to, for the perfect start, you want to do a ramp jump from the very side. That is done so you can land earlier and you can grip immediately right afterwards. However, sometimes you can get, since it's a penalty snow surface just before the jump, it's very easy to lose the speed and get acceleration penalty beforehand. So it's quite risky to do in rounds environment, in ranked or tournaments like TSCC or some other events that are using campaign maps. So this is a very good time attack strategy. However, there are a bit higher lines that you can take for a more round-like approach. Now, if you go for this part, it's better to go to the outside line because it allows to maintain, well, in general in the new game, it's better to take outside lines on most dirt turns because it helps out to give much momentum as possible. Well, it just gives a lot more exit speed from most of the turns. Everything else relatively straightforward. Here, you want to go a bit more on the left side right here because it gives bit better approach, because it also, the skid marks as you see are relatively close and it doesn't allow to oversteering bit too much. And here just full steering from the side and counter steering around with your middle part just before the tree, so you have a nice inside line with carrying the momentum. Here you actually want to, what he does is he does an air brake, so he gets fully flat landing while jumping into the turn. Also, if you get good enough speed, you maintain the upper gear. So if you're a bit low on speed, you'll going to get a gear champs. Due to that, you'll get a bit more inside line. It won't carry as much momentum from the turn. Here you want to tap drift around this part, so you get carried just a minor tap drift. So you just adjust the angle of the turn and try to maintain it. Okay, here this part is a bit interesting. So the reason why he goes here on the side is so all the time the wheels grip on the dirt, because all the time you want to have as much grip as possible because the car keeps accelerating and thus increasing the speed. Of course, this is a quite risky strategy. There are a bit more safer approaches, especially in rounds like environment when you want to go a bit more on the middle part around here, whereas Dexter went full on the side. So he actually was very close on losing the speed or getting a penalty due to that. So he just on the edge managed to maintain. On top of that, he got a very close grip lines due to that having a pseudo speed slide on the dirt surface. He counter steers before and early on to get a nice inside line and then goes downwards. Okay, if you go a bit downwards, exiting water, then you'll always grip for the water. Otherwise, if he would go a bit more flat, so if you had a bit more angled thiswards, we would get an water bounce. And this is a thing that happens with the water surfaces, since most people are not that experienced with it. If you go downwards within it, you will always, well, very rare cases, you'll get a water bounce and always grip to the bottom of the surface. This is one of the more trickier parts. There is this very weird edge. For the ideal line, you want to go as much right as possible without clipping from the side and then steering on the coast. So you even just go just a bit over it. It's quite safe actually to go on this side. Of course, you want to have as much speed as possible while going around this. So you can just cut this turn so you don't have this weird awkward angle while we go back here a bit, so you don't have to like take this very awkward line here. So you can just cut from the sides if you have good enough speed. Everything else here is relatively straightforward. Minor air brake. Also, one thing, if you notice at his inputs, he steers a bit to the right. If you counter steer, sometimes it cancels out the sideways rotation of the car. So he air brakes to lock the vertical rotation. He counter steers to stop the horizontal rotation. So he gets a very nice, a bit angled slide, so he lands in an auto drift, and he just adjusts a bit the angle for the, or corrects the drift, so he's not too fast and gets a very nice inside line on the downer part. Since on plastic works a bit weird than than dirt and grass. You actually want to oversteer on plastic sometimes because it allows to carry as much bit more momentum as possible. And here, maintaining a bit more straightforward line throughout the inside part. Similar thing here. Minor tap drift to land flat into auto slide. Minor adjustment right here. And just as much momentum carried as here. Also, when he does a minor dirt wiggle, because it helps increase the speed if you're in gear 4 or more. As we're currently on gear 5, it gives a bit more speed. Also, he goes a bit on the side. It saves a few seconds here and there. And that's the world record on how to do some of the tasks. So to summarize, small ramp cut here. You don't need to take it as deep as possible, but still around this part is also pretty good. Here in the next turn, take a full-on outside line. Helps out. You can also do a minor release to adjust it. You'll still get more momentum out of it. In this part, go a bit on the left and full steer here. You can also do a minor release here to adjust the angle a bit, so it's not that risky. Here, go full inside, air brake, a must, and land into an auto slide. You can do a minor brake adjustments here as well to correct your line. Here, the same thing, minor tap drifts. Here, go a bit on the black. You don't need to take it as deep as possible, but you just to get a full grip downwards. Have a close line, inside lines. Try to have it so the car goes fully downwards. One thing that you need to avoid, don't counter steer while going into the pole, because that will give a bit of a, you know, a bit of butter bounties. Here, if you get too much speed, you can go over the edges. Counter steer and air brake at this part. Tap drift to correct the line. Bit more aggressive inside line because it's plastic. Straight line, air brake again. Land in the auto slide. Minor SDs for dirt with semi-dirt fills. Go on side to get grip. And that's the finish. And that should be it. Everything you need to know about Winter 2021. If this video was helpful, we really appreciate if you like and subscribe for more Trackmania videos, news, guides, and updates. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you all for watching and see you later. Bye.